Hey everybody, I'm Lee, and you're on According to Lee. I want to thank you guys for jumping in here, and remember, if you like the video, you want to see more, make sure you hit that like button, help out with the YouTube algorithms, and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be adding more and more content as we move forward, so I wanted to kind of jump right in here, and if you're like me, it's not hard to notice that even without TV commercials, radio ads, everything like that, Tesla is everywhere. Now, I've been a fan of the company since they first came out with that Roadster. It was never going to be something that I thought I could afford or buy or anything like that, but living in California at the time, it became an environmental option to get around, some of the gas vehicles that people had. Certainly I had, everything like that. So I've been excited about the electric vehicle launch that's been moving forward. I like the industry. I like what other companies are trying to do to get into it. And I want to see what I could do, or if it was something that would make sense for me. So with all that in mind, we decided finally to buy a Tesla Model Y. It seemed to fit our family. It seemed to pull in the direction that we wanted to go. We have a baby, so we needed a little bit extra space. And then with the range where they are now, 330 miles, as an estimate, it made sense. And we live kind of in the middle of the country now, moved from California. We live in Ohio. There are superchargers everywhere, but we have a garage to charge it in, so it kind of works out, and then kind of going from there. Now, there were a couple of things to consider when looking at the electric vehicle, in that range is a huge thing. I mean, it's range anxiety. You'll hear about it in other videos. People talk about it all the time. It's a really big deal. How you handle the range anxiety is kind of the way that you approach it when you decide to buy an electric vehicle, in that there's gas stations everywhere. Every 10 minutes, drive down the road, sometimes across the street from each other, there's multiple places. You're never going to run out of gas, or at least run out of options to get gas. Whereas on the other hand, now Tesla has this extremely extensive network of superchargers all across the country, on every major highway, it seems, in every state that I saw, internationally, including Canada and some other countries as well. So really anywhere you want to go, you can probably find a supercharger. You just have to keep it in mind. Now, what Tesla does is they offer, in addition to this network, when you're planning your route, you're using navigation to get from one place to the other, they can route you based on the superchargers. They'll tell you how far away you are to the next one, how far you can make it on your charge, where you should be stopping, stuff like that. And as they continue to roll out better and better technology on the supercharger itself, it's taking a lot less time to charge. Now, you can get 50-60% of the charge that you need from empty, or from a low charge, to about 60% in about 15 minutes. 15, 20, 25 minutes, depending on if you go at the supercharger and which version you're on, that sort of thing. So as they move into V3, and they're launching V3s out there, they're promising a full charge in 15 minutes. I haven't seen it yet, but or at least I haven't heard that people are seeing it yet. I mean, I'm excited to dive into that once we get our Model Y, and I'll kind of touch on that more a little bit later on, the process and everything like that. But from what I can see, though, I even planned a trip back to Montana just to see, because we used to live there at one point, just to see what superchargers were available. And the entire route along the way there, it looks like every, call it 100 miles, there's a supercharger. So there's more than enough places for us to charge. I have a friend that has a Model 3. They took it to a different state to go on a vacation, and the route was more than adequate to get them there with superchargers. So they never ran out of charge. And, realistically, half hour, 45 minutes max, they were waiting at a supercharge to charge back up. But with a child in the car, just like we have, you can't really pull the, Iron Man, all-nighter drive like you used to be able to, because there's no way that our baby can make it that long. So, stopping every 3-4 hours to charge up was more than enough, and giving it about half hour, 45 minutes, enough for all of us to stretch our legs, enough for us to take her out of the car seat, walk around a bit, change her, that sort of thing. Didn't affect their time, and I'm anticipating that it's not really going to affect our time much either. It is longer than a gas station. Of course, you pull into a gas station, you filled up in 10 minutes and you're gone. So you're definitely spending more time than that. But like I said, 10 minutes isn't going to be enough for our baby to kind of stretch her legs either. So, all things considered, though, I mean, the range anxiety is still there. I'm excited to see how we're able to work around it. But realistically, like, we travel out of state, we travel, for a vacation or a trip, maybe once every few months, a couple times a year. So realistically, this car is going to be driven to work and home every day, which is about a 25, 30 mile commute each way. And like I said, we have a garage, so we can charge it in the garage once we get it. So I'm not anticipating range anxiety during the day or anything like that. In addition, if we get stopped in traffic, Tesla has like the car will have like a, almost like a battery reserve mode that it goes into, so that you're not, burning through as much charge as you would typically maybe in a gas car or something like that. We've sat in traffic for, 2 to 3 hours at one point on a trip, and we, went through almost a quarter tank of gas just sitting there. So there's things that the car does, or the Tesla does, to help save you some power there, which is always nice. But in reality, like I said, 30 miles, it'll more than adequately charge it at night when we park it, and then when we wake up in the morning and we go, we'll have a full charge to go. In addition, at the office place that we're going, there is a charging port there for electric vehicles, so you'll be able to charge it during the day and kind of get a little bit extra juice too. So that's really the first thing to consider: the range. Are you going to be able to withstand the range anxiety, get past that stuff, make sure that it's going to fit within your needs during the day, because you're going to be going for something, gas vehicle to electric vehicle. Secondly, where are you going to put it? How are you going to charge it? Like I said, we do live in a city now, and we have superchargers here. There's 3 of them in and around. They're not really convenient to where we live, but we could if we needed to. If we lost power at our house, if my power port wasn't working anymore or anything like that, I could go to the supercharger and charge. It's probably 15 minutes away, and I could do that and get it taken care of. So you want to consider that as well. Now, we are installing a 240 volt outlet in our garage that will charge the car, and it gives us, I think, 25 to 30 miles per hour, something like that, of charge. Typically, the car will be back home at 6:30, 6:30 at night, and she leaves about 7:30 in the morning to go to work. So in that 13-hour period, it's more than enough time to give us our 330 miles to fill it back up as much as we need to. So I'm not worried about the charge on that side. I'm going to go into a little bit later on how we got the 240 volt installed. It's something you're going to want to kind of dive into. If you're familiar with electrical, you can do it pretty easily. If you're not, any electrician can do it. In fact, when we ordered our Tesla, the Tesla product specialist at the store, which is basically a salesperson, but they're not dealerships, they're showrooms. So product specialist sent us a PDF that we can give to an electrician if we wanted to, that details everything they need, how to do it. In addition, there's a link on the website that I'll show you here that you can buy a Tesla home charger that I'll actually give you quite a bit more. So if you needed to, if you thought maybe you would come home from work and you needed to jump out again, or you were frequently going and you needed more of a charge, that'll charge you a lot faster. The downside is that costs about $500, and then you have to get it installed by a Tesla specialist, or at least a Tesla order anyway, to get it in your home, in addition to the wiring of the electrical. So you need an electrician on that as well. So that's not the option that we went with, but really basically because of the cost more than anything. And then on top of that, we're going to have more than enough charge between our house and the work to get past that. So you're definitely going to want to consider that part of it as well. And then, kind of a third thing to think about is the type of car that you're looking for. So currently there's, not including the Roadster, there is 4 models that you can go for: the Model S, X, 3, and the Y. So we went with the Model Y. It's the newest model that came out. We're excited about it. Like you see in the other video, we have kind of a countdown clock going before we get it. And it's the same exact platform, at least as far as frame build, as the Model 3. However, it's got a little bit more cargo space. It's got a little bit more room in it. It's got the hatchback on the back of it. So in addition to our baby, we have a dog. So when we do go on road trips with the whole family, we'll bring the dog and we can put him in the back, so he's not licking the baby the whole time. And then the baby has plenty of space. We have more room for strollers, all that kind of stuff too. And it's got the range that we're looking for. We have some friends that, like I said, they have a child that have a Model 3. It works out great for them. They don't tend to bring their dogs with them often, so they don't need the extra space for it. He is taller than me. I'm 6'5" myself. He's about 6'8". He fits in the car fine, fits in the, with their family. We just wanted a little bit of extra space. So in addition to the price difference, the Model Y just gave us a little bit more room. That's something that we wanted to look forward to. So we kind of went down that road and ordered it. And like I said, it's common. We're counting down the days. We're T-minus about 6 weeks at this point, so we're pretty fresh into the channel. So I talked about it a little bit, about the Tesla itself. You know, why Tesla? I mean, there's a lot of companies that have electric vehicles. We've had an Audi in the past. The Audi has the new e-tron. You know, the Mercedes is coming out with a new one that's supposedly going to beat the Tesla. You know, the I-Pace, the BMW has one. I mean, just even down to like a Nissan Leaf, or, you know, that, or even a hybrid like a Prius or something like that. Outside of styling, I mean, the Tesla just looks like a great car. You know, whether it's the Model 3X, S, or like the Y that we got, I mean, it just looks really sharp. It's clean lined, it's comfortable inside. The technology is there that I feel like surpasses the other electric vehicles that are out there. Just in that everything is at your fingerprints. They got rid of everything you don't need. It is a little bit of an adjustment. Our friends, it took them maybe a couple of days to get used to where everything is. You're missing the odometer right in front of you. You're missing normal things, normal buttons and controls and stuff like that. But, you know, even on the test drive that we took, it was really intuitive. I've been overly familiar, and I've watched an uncomfortable amount of videos on the Tesla, talked to our friends about it, you know, ad nauseum, just to kind of get their feel on it, what they, tips and tricks and stuff like that. And so we were pretty comfortable with the car when we got in it the first time, but I could see the adjustment. It's definitely there. But it's just the company itself. I'm excited about the company just because they, you know, kind of started at nothing, and they're really jumping into this technology, and they didn't want to just produce something to get something out there. They wanted something that, you know, filled a void, that fit a need that people would want or need. And in this case, it's they need to be able to get from one place to another without having to charge all the time. They need to get the range in there, they need to get the miles in there. In addition to that, they wanted it to look nice. I mean, the lineup of the cars, the SEXY or S3XY anyway, spells out what they're, you know, kind of the design that they were going for. Elon Musk even said sexy cars was their kind of model from the start, and you know, starting with something that was aesthetically pleasing and then moving forward with there. It was almost like building it from the ground up, and I really liked where they were going with it. In addition, the company's doing pretty well. Of course, SpaceX, all that kind of stuff too, but they seem to be, you know, standing behind their product as well. So, I mean, you'll notice, you watch videos, it's not hard to find them, product defects. You know, they make you feel like they're the only company out there that has product defects, and that's just not true. I mean, I've had other vehicles, and you may not see them as glaringly. They don't have as many YouTube videos on them, but other companies have, you know, paint defects and, you know, some panel gaps and stuff like that too. You know, Tesla, being that it was basically everything is promoted socially, everything is promoted, you know, through push and visual and stuff like that. It seems like, in addition to everybody saying I love Tesla in the car, except for this or that. So, I mean, there's stuff like that in the mix, but I'm yet to find anybody that has one, and I have a few friends that have them, that says, I love the car except all this stuff, so I don't want it anymore. You know, anything like that. So it seems like the technology, the styling of the vehicle well outweighs any sort of paint defects or panel caps that people are seeing. In addition to it, anybody that has them, they seem to have good experience with the Tesla service. Now, it's a time inconvenience or a time suck a little bit, in that you have to bring it there to get them fixed. Everything with the Tesla car you have to bring to the service center to get it fixed. You can't just bring it to your Midas down the street and, you know, have them make a change on it or something like that. So, you know, it all has to go to a Tesla service center. So if you don't live in a place that has a Tesla service center, it might be inconvenient for you, for sure. Now, in my case, one is 15-20 minutes away. It happens to be where one of our superchargers is. So that definitely helps. I mean, it makes it an easier choice. I do know that, you know, like I said, we don't have our car yet, but when we get it, I'm going to be combing through the car, make sure that the panel gaps aren't there, make sure everything is, you know, solid on the inside, making sure we don't have paint defects, all that sort of stuff. And I'm going to bring it back there to get them fixed. And I'm going to kind of jump on top of that. And they do stand behind the products. It doesn't mean that they're 100% when they come out, but if you have any problems with it, they'll fix them, which is great. And I appreciate that I'm seeing people saying that they have, you know, good experiences with the Tesla service. And like I said, if you don't live by one, it might not be a good convenience for you, so you might want to consider that. Now, in addition to this, we have some of the things that we're doing to the car when we get it, and I'll talk about, you know, break it down a little bit in a different video, but we reached out to a company that does it specifically in our town. They do the tinting, the ceramic coating, the PPF protection, the clear bra, and I talked to the service guy there about it, and I told him some of my concerns that I have with the car, because like I said, we don't have it yet, but just in I don't know, anticipation of what I might see on it. And he brought to my attention that he has a $200,000 Porsche in the shop right now that they're working on. They're doing some paint correction on it, and it had rocks and dirt and debris underneath the paint clear coat. So, even if you had a car that's 3, 4, 5 times as expensive as the Tesla, it's not like you're not going to find any issues with it. The bigger question would be what they do to fix them when you do find them. So I'll talk a little bit later on about my service experience in the event that I do find anything like that. But I'm kind of not as nervous about fixing things as I maybe would have been in the in light of what we did spend on the car. So that kind of considering down the road a little bit. And so as a final point, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the touchless experience. Now, this is the first time I've ever bought a car completely online. Every other time I bought it, you had to go to the dealership, you had to talk to the salesman, you had to test drive it there, bring it back, talk about it, negotiate the price, everything like that. Tesla is a non-negotiating company, so the price that they have on there is the price that you'll end up paying. And in fact, like I mentioned a little bit, they don't call the Tesla showroom, they call them showrooms, not dealerships. So the people that you meet when you walk in there, they're not salespeople, they're product specialists, which is probably a fancy way of saying salespeople. But the guy didn't even have a card when I asked him about it. He said they're all paperless. If you decide to buy one on the spot, he can walk you through the process, but really you're going on their website, Tesla.com, and you're creating a profile for yourself, you're picking your options, and then you're buying your car. If, you had questions on that sort of process, it was super easy, by the way. He can walk you through it, but he's not going to be pushing you into different paint colors, different designs on the inside, seat colors, anything like that. So, like I said, he can help you a little bit, but that's not why he's there. So that part of the experience was certainly different. In addition to that, with everything that's going on, the pandemic and all, we were concerned about exposure to other people, exposure to the businesses and stuff like that. So we were excited at the opportunity we booked our test drive online. We had an appointment for it. So we showed up, we had 20 minutes to drive the car around. Then they take 10 minutes to disinfect the car between the next person. I actually saw them disinfecting the car. So as opposed to them just saying it and then moving into it, it seemed like they were actually doing, which was nice. It made me feel comfortable about it a little bit. We wore masks like you should. The guys at the store had masks on, at the showroom anyway. And the car seemed clean. It was nice. And it was sitting there waiting and cooled down. It was a really hot day when we went there. It was actually cooled inside, which is nice. It's a nice feature of the Tesla. It'll actually, cool it to the temperature you want or warm it once you set it, and that kind of thing. So that part was really nice. We drove it around for 20 minutes. We went back there. We did actually talk to the product specialist a little bit, just because we had a couple of questions. It was real basic stuff, nothing specific about the car, because like I said, we were pretty familiar with the vehicles, how to drive them, how to do some of the technology and stuff like that. It was really just some of the options that were available, the timeline. We wanted to know how long it was before you get it. We happened to be buying the, technically the most popular Model Y, the newest one. Everybody's kind of buzzing about it. They're pretty excited about it. Of course, they had a plant shutdown back in April for a month, April into May. So that kind of slowed down production of this vehicle a little bit too, but they ramped back up and they're getting out there. We wanted to, in addition, find out how long it was going to come, see if we could pick a day. If we said because in reality, we have to go back to this, they don't deliver to our address, which they will do for you if you're in their network. So we're going to actually go back to the showroom to get our car once it does arrive. So we wanted to talk to him about that and make sure that we were available for it and stuff like that. So we did talk about that, and he kind of walked us through it. It took maybe 10 minutes or so, and then we left. We went home, we talked about it, and then we went online. We went to Tesla.com. We picked out the type of vehicle being the Model Y. We picked out the range that we wanted, or it's long range really is the only one's available now. The standard range is supposed to be available in 21. The long range was great though. That was the 330 miles that we were looking for. We opted not for the performance version. We didn't want to pay the extra money for it. And then the black interior is what we wanted anyway. We went for midnight gray or midnight silver. And then, because I thought it looked really nice with the chrome delete on the handles and stuff like that, which we'll talk a little bit about later on. But we wanted to, we picked out the car we wanted, everything like that. The whole process took maybe 10 minutes. I actually already had a Tesla account because I'd signed up in, premonition of buying one or excitement towards buying one anyway. So we already had the Tesla account, but that was super easy to get in, to set up, put in your email address, pick a password, and you're good to go. We went through the finance. We did Tesla financing with it, in which case they found a company to finance for us, which was great. And that process was easy. It took about a day. And then we picked any other options that we wanted. We opted not for the full self-driving. I'll talk about that later on too, as to why we went down that road, or didn't go down that road, I should say. And then that was it. So we're basically waiting right now with the ticking clock for our car to come in. And all in all, the cost of the vehicle was about what we were looking for, maybe a little bit more in the monthly payments than we were angling towards, but it's going to kind of balance out. So it's going to fill the need that we were looking for, and then kind of move from there. So, with that, I wanted to, throw out there, if you like this video, if, you want to see some more, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You're listening to According to Lee, and make sure you like at the bottom, and then we'll get more videos out for you. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you add them at the bottom. I'll be kind of scanning those over and answering any questions people have. This was kind of supposed to be an overview video, just to kind of talk about everything that we have going on at this point, and we'll kind of dive into some of the other stuff a little bit later on. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great day.